And just like that, after restarting 5 times and having this say it couldn't find my camera and so forth, we're back. So, man, this is a this is a feat. So, bring us in. Welcome back, everybody. Believe it or not, there's a slim chance the show could be monetized. So, yeah, I don't know. It happens once in a while. The Brio's awesome. The mic's awesome. Just to get everything to work on its own isn't good. So Jim just sent me a link which is trying to end the chat here, trying to leave me from the site. So I to go on my monitor screen here. All right. Let's see. All right, let's see what's happening here. What is your news, Jim? The SAL T41L. Oh, I'm reading the commercial. U.S. First Airborne deployed near Ukraine's border. Okay. I was reading the ad that came up, and I'm like, not sure what's going on here, but it's for Kachava. So it is the Shure. Yep, I was able to go in and make the adjustment, and seems like it's a lot more complicated than it should have been coming into this. It does it once in a while, and I think the deal is that it's a fight. If my UCam software kicks in first, it'll try to run things through that, which then attempts to overprocess everything that's going on. And but everything's good now. Like it's just running straight up through YouTube. I'm not going to get fancy here because I need 6 hours to be monetized. So I'm not going to do the StreamYard thing. I'm not sure all that gets counted. I assume it does, but I figure I might as well go through YouTube's platform. So yeah. So right now I have everything fine. So yeah, Jim, it's kind of like so UCam has traditionally been my go-to whenever I start up. Everything always runs through there. And that was necessary back with the previous camera to take care of the white balance because there could be effects that were built into UCam to kind of mitigate that. But this camera is really good, so I don't need that. But I don't have it where I can. I got to go in and figure out how to make UCam not start up when I start my video software. So something I'll have to mess around with in the next couple days. But anyway, it's working good now. Betting Ballistics, Jim, Uke. So hey everybody, Monday is my birthday. Da 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 da. I say it's my birthday, and it really is. So like the new mic is good to go. Yeah, it should be coming through the Shure. I was able to go in and actually do the setting here and move it from the Brio down to the Shure. So you should have the Shure. Yeah, you're right, Jim. So it is one of those things. And I had a meeting today. I think my software was okay. It was through Zoom. It's like through a paid version of Zoom and stuff. And then the other person couldn't get their video on, which I think was on their side and not my side. But wasn't that big of a thing. It's kind of weird when people can see you and then you can't see them, and it's just like an audio meeting. But since I have my headphone and stuff on, it's a lot easier. So yeah, so those of you who follow the show and watch the show, we are at 3,994 watch hours, which means technically we need 6 watch hours to become eligible for monetization. At which point YouTube would let me know, and then I have to complete a process, which other people have said isn't very long, but you have to answer some questions, what the purpose of your channel is and things like that. So kind of not too hard to figure that out, right? So but yeah, so I'm within apparently 6 hours, and then all good after that. But we're not there yet. So, um, by the way, so Monday is my birthday. I need to work on a show thumbnail. Unless someone's really good, and you want to email me one. But um, I need a show thumbnail. So I'm gonna see if I can come through here and find one. So it's live, or is it Memorex? Um, by the way, like the interest rates are going up for savers. So yes, I understand inflation eats away at things and stuff like that, but we're seeing interest rates we haven't seen in 10 to 15 years right now. The 1 year treasury is up like at 4.75. 5 year CDs are getting close to 4%. Um, so they're all good things. And well, it depends on what side of the coin you're on. But um, let me see here if I can trying to find a birthday photo. I don't know where people get photos, like just stock photos, that are okay to use. Um, but let me see here. So Dudoc is solid. It's Ron Wayne. He's absolutely right. Mile High Ronan. Hey guys, hit the likes. Appreciate you. So yeah, so Monday will be a birthday show, which is awesome. Wha- whoa, my goodness, here you guys, like Google stock photos. Is that it? So I don't want to. I don't want to end up having to deal with being someone saying, "Oh, like I have that show or that you know, yeah, Getty, right?" But then you have to pay for the images. I don't want to deal with that. So I had a friend who went down a very bad path with that. Used an image and ended up having to pay afterwards, which wasn't a good thing. So um, I pay for all my audio. I have a subscription to SoundBlocks, so that's lifetime. Even if like I cancel subscription, like whatever I've downloaded, the license is there. But which is stuff you hear in the show. So yeah, I don't think Shutterstock is it either. You got to pay for it. So it's like Pixabay is one. Um, so let's see here. I'm gonna try to find. Um, yeah, I guess I've got a couple pictures here. So let me bring one up. So dun, 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 dun. I say it's my birthday. It's my birthday too. Oh yeah. All right. So I need to come up with I think I'm going to do an open call-in show again, and then I've got 3 guests in a row. Is Ron encouraged me to put Uke in timeout or just see old snapshots, old film photos? Ones I've used are all fine. Um, what happens now is there are scrubbers that go through the internet and they look for a match. If you've pulled a photo somewhere and you put it on a blog or as your thumbnail or whatever, and if it matches, it can be an automatic copyright infringement suit. It's not even a claim, and because the bar to litigate it was changed under the Case Act 2 years ago, um, it doesn't. It's really bad. So anyway, like these things just go on in the background, and you might have uploaded, something. So like you always have to make sure you either have the rights. It's Pixabay, and you can put your documentation down of like where you got it, or you just take your own stuff. So, but let's see, remove background from image. Let's try this. So, who's really good at making a thumbnail? Probably Mike McClune. It's his thing, man. He's the thumbnail guy. It's Mike McClune, everybody, the thumbnail guy. They're like, let's see here. Jeez. Thanks, software. Man, the machine's turning against me tonight, man. I don't want to deal with that. that didn't work out good for the Terminator. So let's try this. All right, guys. I'm trying to remove background from a photo. Hey, it's Alex Patino, our truck driving friend in the field. So they say, Mike, we almost did a video as a premiere, but decided to wait. Oh my God, Misty misses away, and that's awesome. So, whoa, that's really cool. Doc, I don't think you should post the link in your chat again. That got really messy the other night, just my opinion. Bang ballistics. Yeah. Well, it did when we did have it kind of spammed at the end. I mean, it started out great with Half Mile Sniper and the ghost stories, and then yeah, the guy snuck in, and we had to get him out of there. So I can watch who's in the back, right? So I might. It would probably be like the last time I would do that, because again I've got guests coming on, but I might do that. I don't know, but then I mean, if I know you, hey, it's Alex Patino or Betting Ballistics, I might bring you in for just to do the birthday shout out, if you want to. Um, so, but yeah, so yeah, betting. Um, and the thing is, like, I can see who's in the back. Like, I can just decide not to let them in too. So, even if they have the link, they're only going to get as far as the backstage, which I can see, and I can see the video, and so like I know who it is, right? Um, so I can make sure someone's in, or I can actually just comment and say, nope, you're not going to be on the show, and bing, knock them out of there. So, um, got Doc going on two other tabs. Look at this old playlist. There are some great shows out there, right? So, thank you, my friend. Um, where should I create a folder here? It's starting to get really eclectic. Um, New folder. Let's put birthday 2022. All right. So I don't know if anyone's really good at making this. Won't be like a super great thumbnail. Show it in the folder. Sure, why not? And then here, and then here. I know none of this isn't coming through, but let's see if it looks okay. So yeah, I don't know. I know. I wish I knew someone who's really good at making thumbnails, but I am kind of okay with it. Um, but so hope everybody's doing well. We are. Can we please never talk about esports again when it's spooky time? Whoa, Uke. Yeah, I promise. Um, Doc, one of my old teachers in Florida called tonight. They have esports in 4 districts, supported by Full Sail University. That's awesome. I'm glad, Benny Ballistics, you shared that. Really cool. Matt Hoover, Doc. Matt Hoover's been on the show. Yeah. So you can watch that show. And I was on Matt's show a couple times. So, yeah. So very cool. I found that other ghost. We'll save it for next year, Doc. Whoa, Ron Wayne, that's freaky. Yeah. And I'm not using my StreamYard here. So I don't have access to I can't bring people up into the room. And at some point, I should understand maybe OBS software and stuff like that, but not now. And I have a university class I'm teaching Saturday, and students are behind submitting stuff. So I had to send out another email today. I was like, please get the stuff in, because I do not check after 8 p.m. on Fridays. So if you send something, 10 o'clock at night, I'm not going to have it graded, and things are due. So get the stuff. So hopefully tomorrow, people will be submitting things because I'm caught up on the grading. Still quite a bit to do. So they've also read all your book. They have 27 high schools that have trap teams. Holy smokes, it's good. Well, hopefully I'll leave a review for my birthday. I have 54 reviews, for School of Airs and 24 for the Velocity of Information. It's CNT. Hey, I saw your short with the sign. Seems like it's coming along. So very cool. Very cool. Thank you. Nate's has been chilling. So good stuff, man. Good stuff. So yeah. Um, I It's one thing I'd like to do. I want to find out where people get these images for their shows. I like, Chad Elkins and Aaron Clary and um, that because my thumbnails, I'd like to do that. So I'm trying to find here on Pixabay, and I can't bring it up. I'm trying to find like a really kind of fun image here, but they have a number of these that are free as long as you write down like where it says no attribution. Let me see this one. Yep, free download, Pixabay license, free for commercial use. So, it's not bad. I want to find something that's kind of fun. Is anybody here really good at thumbnails? That's the question. Joe Morris, holo, safety doc chat. Hey, buddy, it's Joe. Not so bad. So so it was 73 here today, southern Wisconsin. Same tomorrow. It'll get windier as the day goes on. So I don't know if that's good or bad for dealing with the leaves. Because I'm at the top of the hill, they'll kind of move their way down the hill. I don't have much in the front, just a little bit. Well, not a little bit, a fair amount in the back, but all of the leaves are off the trees. And I tend to do it with my Echo leaf blower. Like I just will chase things to the end of the property. And then when it gets back there, I can just kind of rake it into the woods. So that's good. Good stuff. Yeah, we've had a warm stretch, and back and next week we'll be back to about 60, which isn't bad for this time of year. So it shortens up winter, and I'm not burning firewood, so I'm a little bit ahead of the game here because we had a cold stretch about 2 weeks ago. Where the 40s, and then I was burning, but now I haven't had a fire since then. So I'm on pace. Like I'll be good throughout the rest of the year because now I've got this 2 week stretch I wasn't burning. So all right, I'm trying to happy birthday, free download. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll take this one. It's not going to be a whole lot put into it unless someone it's pretty fun there. Someone wants to make a thumbnail, an intern for the safety doc here. So let me know. Bonus podcast birthday. So yeah, looks pretty good. I like it. So can't share the screen, unfortunately. So cool. So my goal on Monday is to tell some kind of birthday stories, a little bit of recollection of the days when Doc was younger, but yes, I am. What the hell is going on here? So yeah, YouTube is still has the show on that it didn't. I don't know. There's kind of like some show that's happening, which isn't really happening. Oh, God's sakes. All right. Okay. Now we're here. Scotty. So so on Monday it is oh my God, Swamp Dog Armory's here. That guy. So look at Swamp Dog. Hey buddy. So yeah, Monday is my birthday. So um, should be about 60 and sunny. So I'm looking forward to that. We are at 3,994 hours here on the show for watch hours, which means we have 6 watch hours to go to be monetized. And you would think like that's a short step, but it's actually a leap of faith because even after Monday's show, we only bumped up a little bit. So I'm hoping that it does happen. Swamp Dog Armory, I'm hoping. So happy birthday. So you're like, what can I get Doc for birthday besides watch hours? Well, of course, here you guys know that you can get the Velocity of Information post a review on Amazon, be the 25th review, or School of Airs, which also comes in audiobook that I narrated 6 hours, be the 55th review. So that would be pretty awesome. So yeah, I haven't checked lately to see where the books are. Like I should say, Velocity of Information, which is in libraries all around the world. I can access through my publisher and kind of see. The whole internet's just puking tonight. Just sucks. They're putting in Frontier, and I know that's not probably the reason why this is happening, but um, anyway, I'm trying to figure out what the hell is going on here. So, yeah. So 4.33 on stars, 3 ratings. So mine and another 5. And then, of course, somebody doesn't, they just go in and post without a comment. That's usually in a different country. They do that because I've had that happen on Amazon. So let's see here. Preston, Lancashire, United Kingdom, London, Marburg, Germany, Erlangen, Germany. This is where Velocity of Information is in libraries. München, Germany, Doho, Qatar, Sharjah, United Arab Emirates, Hong Kong. So, yes. And let's check domestically here. Library of Congress, Emory University, Virginia Commonwealth, University of Pennsylvania, North Carolina State University, University of Northern Colorado, the Borough of Manhattan Community College. So thank you very much. It's located on Randolph and Chambers Street. Columbia University, 535 West 114th Street, in case you're in Manhattan College, over there at O'Malley Library, 4513 Manhattan College Parkway in the Bronx. So it's always kind of fun to see where the stuff is. So, yeah, I have to work on a couple show notes. So, coming up, we have The Legal Man is going to be on the show November 10th to talk about citizen's arrest, and then also like understanding juries, right? And he's got a punchy channel there at the Quash, and then also on Twitter. I think like 60,000 followers. So the 14th will be Attorney Lisa Lenny, talking about the law of necessity. Hey, can you trespass on Ron Wayne's property if you're trying to save somebody from, quicksand? And then the 21st is esports expert, head of Wisconsin esports, Mike Dahl, and the rise of esports. And Mike he's all over the place talking about esports. Over the weekend, he was in Orlando at a conference. They contacted him and said, hey, get down here. So hey, somebody officially retired as of today. Benning Ballistics. Oh my goodness. Wow. I've officially retired as of today. Well, congratulations. It is official. So, wow. So band talk. Good to see y'all getting ahead on work at the moment. So, at CT, I'm taking an early week to fly out to Michigan for the weekend. Good for you, band talk, man. Sounds good. Probably get an extra day of that. It's be warm here tomorrow. Maybe that'll carry over into Michigan. So, thanks for being here, buddy. Going for pleasure and gonna shoot some guns and meet folks on YouTube. So, meet up with Joe Dolio. So, very cool. Um, yeah, that's cool. Wow. Sounds like a good time. That does sound like a good time. So, yay. Nothing but a good time. Um, so yeah, once the university stuff gets done, there's some wrap up on that, but then things open up a little bit here. And until about like the middle of December, then I have to start prepping the spring teaching. So, um, you know, I think they still, I think the university still has the incorrect um, course down for me, meaning they put in the wrong course code. A course I've instructed forever. A course, of course. My friend is a horse, but let me check here because I let him know about it and still wrong. Jeez, I don't know. Um, that's a problem. So I'll have to get back and because it's a different course number, it's actually a different course. It's a course I don't instruct. And then if people are trying to register for my course, and it's just bad. So what do I teach? So in fall, and by the way, like I've taught for 19 years at the university level. So in fall, I teach superintendent legal issues. So it's kind of a superintendent law class. And then I also teach special education, legal issues, special education law class for aspiring special education directors. And then in spring, I teach pupil services and non discrimination, which is a class focused on the various non discrimination aspects that school districts need to be aware of and abide by, um, such as Title One, Title Nine, athletics, and things like that. So, um, anyway, so they're all kind of in the legal realm. I'm not a lawyer, so I guess you can't, I probably shouldn't say technically I'm teaching law classes. That's why they're called legal classes. But so good stuff though. And I've taught over 100 classes. I have to go back probably closer to 120 now over the last 19 years. Yeah, I think that's probably about right. There were some years where I would teach like 6 to 8 classes a year and be working full time. I mean, like, cause I don't teach full time, but, so yeah, I actually want to add in a class next year. So I've got to kind of get on the same page with the university on that. Um, so I don't know. We'll see. So Yuke is saying I'm on a month 4 of sabbatical. Going to go back to work sometime soon. Whoa. Yeah. Yeah. I coach high school sports and worked at a law firm. So I got you. So this reminds me of they shoot horses, don't they? Oh no. Yeah, better question, private range or military range in Michigan? So, John H. Well, John, welcome back, buddy. Um, and yeah, so look at this. We've got a terrific turnout here. So this is the possibly the episode to get me to 4,000 watch hours, which technically makes the show eligible for monetization. Hoping that'll happen. So seems like Sisyphus trying to push the rock up the hill. It's kind of weird. So, But yeah, you got 20 people in here. Yeah, there's a thank you. 22 apparently here on the. There's 21. We just lost somebody, but that is. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, I'll buy a dance for a dime. That's John. So I've also been doing some changes here on. I don't know. I mean, maybe you guys can give an idea in the chat um, for if you do any finances, any investment stuff, if you do that through, you know, is it paid? Do you have somebody who works on a commission? Do you do that all on your own? Um, you know, are you using a trading platform that has really low rates, or again, are you having managed accounts and stuff? But one of the things is some of the old. Look at Andrew. That guy has got golden hands, diamond hands. So, yes, Andrew. Um, but one of the things is that, you know, so with older like 401ks or something, you move around a while, right? And then, it's 401k with a company and then it just sits there, you forward it, transfer it into like a current 401k with a different company or something. Um, but there's these high rates of maintenance on these things, like these maintenance fees, and they're always just going up. And I'm like, you look at that, and it's like, boy, like over, 5 years, 10 years, like that's a lot of money. Um, so I'm just, I, I'm looking at that, and so where some of the stuff is that I had moved over from a smaller account a few years ago, the account maintenance fee was just crazy. So, um, you know, not at all worth. It wasn't a managed account. It was just like here's the fee to every year on this thing. So that is in the process of getting moved. I completed the paperwork today actually to get that out of there. Um, so to move it away and but yeah, that's the thing, right? Fees just eat stuff up like crazy. It is just insane. Um, so you can mitigate that somewhat. So I want to find a YouTube channel. There's a guy, Eric Tang. Um, no relation to the people that invented Tang, by the way. I don't know. He could be. I'm guessing not, though. Um, but let's see here. Um, that show like that I tried to start that never started? Like it's still hanging out in there in YouTube, which is pretty disheartening. But so let's see here. Can someone find Eric Tang's um, channel? Apparently, I can't. Eric Tang, Tang, is it's a financial channel, just a show on I bonds. So if anybody, Eric Tang, Tang. So um, so anyway, it's Eric Tang, and he. So this guy, young guy who does all these things about T bills versus bank CDs, and he has like this new thing with credit cards, and and taking out getting bonuses like 5% back on some of these cards and stuff like that. So um, let me check here. So here, I've got it now. Um, just a second. Everything's just working in slow motion tonight. And I don't know. Here we go. Jeez. he has 1.68 um, thousand, a little bit bigger than my channel, uh, but he is growing. Good guy. And here we go. There's the pinned. So anyway, he talks, finances if you're into treasuries and stuff like that. Um, but succinct videos, really good. And um, I emailed him and I had a question, and he emailed me back like a huge detailed response, which was right on the money. But I mean, the guy put a lot of time into it. I think it was about what is the difference between the yield on how Treasury Direct posts their things and their interest rate, because it's a little confusing. Thanks, Misty, Mrs. Wayne. Um, that's a good channel, and Eric is a good guy. So for finances, definitely check some of that out, because if you have a Treasury Direct account, for example, um, Eric steps through a couple things of here's what's here's what's happening. So just a moment. All right, had to make sure the door was open and went up the stairs. So let's see here. Doc, are you sure about the new mic? Yes. Yeah, I am. So good stuff. I'm glad I made that decision to get the mic. So big time happy about that. Um, oh my goodness, Nate, they're full time. So wow. Um, all right. Yeah. So oh, Man Against the Masses. I'm like MATM. So yes, Man Against the Masses. So yeah. So we are within 6 hours of being monetized. Just check. So not too far, not too far away. So yeah, I did a quick wash of the vehicles today. Not like real in depth, because we're going to have, you know, snow before long, and I didn't want to like get into a whole like waxing everything, because I had done that about a month ago, but just kind of clean things off. But I did do another layer of Rain-X on the windshield. And it makes a big difference with the first couple snows. It just makes it a lot easier to get the stuff off the windshield, because we will run into that here. So yeah. So um, but not soon, because we are going to be 70, and then we're going to be warm again. Um, so yeah. Any questions? Anybody has a question for me? Put it down. Um, and by the way, tomorrow I will take down the ghost out of the tree in the front. They're still blinking out there. I just let the batteries die out. Um, and I'll take down all the little strobe lights and stuff. Bring that in, because it's flashing against the house. A mouse. I got you, Safety Doc. Have 3 accounts going to your vids. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So now we only need 6 hours, mouse. Can you believe it? So look at Andrew. I have a question, Doc. Yes, Uke. What's up? When are you going to pick up your? That's the guitar. So that's actually my godfather's guitar. He passed away 9 years ago, and I'm not. I don't play guitar, so you'd be disappointed. But yeah. But I remember as a kid, I remember being like 8 years old, and we'd have Christmas gatherings. He would pull out the guitar, and just we'd make up songs in the moment. So, you'd have like 15, 20 people there and these crazy, wild, fun songs. And one time, um, so one of the relatives who was in high school had the camcorder from school. This is probably like what, about 1980. And he recorded all these funny songs, but then back then, like tapes were very expensive and stuff like that. And so we played it back, but we never kept the tape, which was really a shame because it was just so much fun. I had a turkey, like a big plastic turkey, like it was regular size of what a turkey is, like a cooked turkey. And I would like move it across the screen between songs. It was kind of a thing they did on Hee Haw, by the way. So that's where that came from. It's Toy Town. So yeah, so good to see everybody here. So thank you so much. Any other questions? Been watching, trying to get watch hours up. Thank you. So um, I am, yeah, I am close. Apparently, I'm 6 watch hours away. So I thought today would be the day. Like I thought it'd be, oh, like I'm over the 4,000, but it's not happened so far. So Andrew's saying, or to Andrew, good business is self storage, low overhead, one employee, and consistent rent. Yes, I had a friend who got into that when her and her husband were in their 20s. They bought some storage units that were up for sale, and then they just rapidly expanded and put more and more and more, units up. And I mean, they made a lot of money and continue to make money. And I think I mean, I didn't talk to them for quite a while, but they said there was this whole side business, right? Where when people wouldn't pay for their rental, their storage unit, that they had someone who would pay them. So then they would clean it out, but then they got to keep whatever was in it. So it wasn't like an auction type thing. They just had an agreement with this guy, right? Of, if we notify somebody and whatever the legal process is, that they have 60 days. And if they don't get it, then, that this person would go in and they would completely clean it out. But then whatever was inside, they would get to keep. So they said as far as that, like there was never this issue of having to deal with that. So sometimes, lucky that person, right, who cleans it out and finds like a motorcycle. Um, but other times it can just, be kind of a junky old couch and boxes of magazines and just stuff that really isn't worth anything. So um, but yeah, so I mean, we have those all over the place here. And it seems like they're always putting up new ones. It's kind of crazy. I had a friend too who moved or got married and then he moved. And then he paid for his rental unit for like 15 years and never visited it. Or maybe he visited it, but he never like went through it or actively managed it. So it was basically stuff when he changed houses that he put into storage and then just continued to pay this fee. And I suppose it's the law of inertia, right? Like you just don't, you're afraid to give up on stuff, but you don't really even know it's there anymore. And isn't that crazy, right? And then you know, at some point, then um, you got to look and I don't know how much it cost a year, like a small storage unit. Um, what 5 grand, 5 grand a year, maybe. Um, no, it wouldn't be 500 a month. But probably at least 2 grand a year, right? For a small one, I would say maybe 2,000 a month. So yeah, storage wars, right? People who bid and unpaid, forgotten storage units. So yeah, um, but they cost 200 for. Okay, thanks, Nate. So yeah, so they're 2,400. And I'm guessing that's a month, right? So 2,400 a year. But um, John pays 30 a month for a 10 by 30. So that seems pretty reasonable there, buddy. Um, yeah, 230. So John H. So is that 230? So is that 230 a year or 230 a month? Um, when we remodeled the house and had the steel siding put on and all the stuff, new roof, about 10 years ago. And at that time, I wanted to put a shed in the back, a small shed, and have it done with the same siding and same roof, so it would have matched, look cool. And we didn't. And I still regret that we didn't do that because I don't have a lot of room in my garage and stuff like a wheelbarrow and things like easily would have gone back there, and I could have freed up some space in the garage. Um, so I think that and some gardening, stuff, and but maybe you know snowblower when it's not in use. I don't know, but it's not going to happen. So I'm the only one in my neighborhood that doesn't have a matching shed to the house. It's kind of weird, and like a shed that's built with the same siding and roofing material as the house. It is weird. Um, so yeah. Um, cool. Adam Sandler first comedy tape. There was a skit about a character, Fatty McGee, set off a alarm, fire alarm in a library. Oh my goodness. Wow. Um, the Water Boy, right? I saw that not too long ago. And then, yeah, what time do you go to the dentist? Tooth hurty. Yes. Um, wow. So, dun, dun, dun. So yes, Monday. I'm hoping Monday sometime between like 8 and 8:30. I gotta take it kind of by ear a little bit, but so Monday's my birthday, and I don't know what we'll be doing as a family. I mean, it won't be anything like real big, but depending upon my daughters have school stuff going on and things like that. If we do a little birthday thing um, at 5 o'clock, or if it's going to be like at 7 o'clock, I don't know. But at my age, it's not a sentinel birthday. Um, it's not a big celebration, but yeah. And then we get back. We have 3 guests in a row on the show. After that, we have Legal Man, who you can check out at the Quash. So let me find Legal Man here. Um, who just wanted to say, and huh, um, what? Just got an email. I got a I just got a follow from somebody who has 1,000 or 135,000 followers on Twitter, and now I'm his 1430th follower. So that's a cool thing. Well, thanks. So I have to bring up Legal Man. Give me just a second here. Just a second, and hang on. All right. So the Legal Man has a show that he started a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago, I think, called The Quash. And quash is a legal term, you know, meaning you shut something down, basically. You quash it. Remember, you've heard the term quash, right? So that's actually a legal term. Legal Man, quash, Quash. So here's the quash. Put it as the pin. We'll put it as the pinned dealio there. So, Toy Town saying, I've been diligent the past 2 days trying to get your hours up. I'd recommend reaching out to Clover Tech for help. He's a mutual friend in the 2A world with scientific knowledge on how to navigate his own channel. Cool. Thanks, Toy Town. So appreciate that. So, so the Legal Man is an attorney, has been an attorney for 30 years. On Twitter, he has 41,000 followers. So very punchy, to the point. So I appreciate his content, and he is going to tell us about the whole dealio here with um, citizen's arrest. And then from that, we're going to get into jury. So, citizen's arrest is on the books here in my state. So you're going to find out, right? It's probably not a good thing to count on, but when might you actually use it? And how would you try to defend it to a fact finder or to a judge's fact finder or jury, um, and actually make it like a legal defense? And what would you do if you said citizens arrest and then the police arrived? Like, how would you convey to them, I just placed this person under citizens arrest? Right. We all know that this is a really iffy, weird thing, but the fact is that it's still on the books in a lot of states, including mine. So, a legal man, again, our lawyer friend of 30 years, is going to come in and say, here's the deal. And then he's also going to talk about your best strategies of, trying to argue points. Um, and, and really, how a lot rides on the jury, but it'll be invigorating. So if you go in, and it's the pinned tweet now, the Quash, that is his podcast, and he does a little kind of micro post with each of those. You can tell. I mean, he is, he's energetic, and he's like, I've seen it from 30 years of work in the system, and you know, I am going to be punchy here. So it's a good guy. I'm glad to have him on. So Nate's saying, I arrest people all the time. So yeah, I think Ron Wayne was just arrested. Citizen's arrest. Misty put Ron in citizen's arrest. Ron is in the paddy wagon on his way to the local jail. So we'll soon have a GoFundMe to get Ron Wayne out of jail. So I don't know if that's happening, but so yeah, the citizen's arrest is pretty interesting to me. Again, it's because it's one of these archival things that still exist, right? It hasn't been removed from the books. And again, in Wisconsin, it seems like it's fairly robust, like how it's written, but I've never seen or heard of anybody try to use it. And I, so yeah, what happens if you try to do that? And what would be the best odds of being successful in using a citizen's arrest? Um, when the odds are really against you, but like, what would be the way that you could do that? So, and maybe have it where you could depend, you could use it as a defense. So that is coming up, 8 days from now. So I think earlier, for him, I think we're doing that at 7 p.m. I have to go back and check. So yeah, it could be pretty dicey. And in Virginia, it's certainly legal. Okay, Nate, but you might get shot. So yeah. Um, but yeah, let him out. That is trending right now. Let him out for Ron Wayne. It's trending on Twitter. Free Ron Wayne. So yeah. Um, wow. Whoa. Something just it's free Ron Wayne. So okay. There's some calling here of messages. So um, yes. It's kind of so I bought a bag of Skittles for class for my lunch. I don't really eat candy, but for lunch I always bring a little bit of like well, typically a bag of Skittles. And the reason is because glucose, you're thinking, you're on your feet for a long time and doing things. So, but you have this, you're always cognitively working when you're instructing, right? So it's 8 hour class. Um, and one thing about Einstein too, like if you go, I'm not Einstein, right? But if you go, Einstein eat sugar all the time because your brain just consumes glucose like mad when you're kind of just engaged in high level cognitive activities. So I I do that to stay sharp, throughout class and kind of not to get a little sleepy in the afternoon, just or to kind of let my mind wander. So, but it's this big bag of Skittles, and then I never finish it to get home, and then my daughter will finish it off. But I was like, my daughter was out with her friends, and she got this huge sack of candy, and I was like, I should have just asked her for a couple pieces of candy. I wasn't thinking, but she did a really nice thing. So her friend was in New York, and she came back from New York and right on Halloween, and so this is my daughter's friend who lives down the street. So then she met up with everybody right at the end of Halloween, like trick or treating. So by that time, everything had trick or treating was largely done. Like they had stopped going out to places. But my daughter last night took her candy and then sorted out and then took things that her friend likes and put it into a Ziploc bag and then gave it to her. They walk to school together in the morning. They meet up at the corner and go to school. So, and I thought that was a cool thing. Um, so, so yeah. Jim is saying, I don't know if you all love the doc or hate him. Holy smokes. Um, whoa. Well, it's probably a love-hate relationship, right? There's probably not a gray area. So you either love Doc or not. So, wow. Um, so yeah. We'll look at Misty, Mrs. Wayne. Thank you very much for that. So, um, it's cool. That's very cool. The hell's controllers? It's Bolo. Jim, if you've looked at chat, oh my goodness. A mouse swimming in a toilet. Holy smokes. Um, so, so yeah, I have uh, yard work, and then on Friday will be Friday. It'll get colder, and probably be raining for a lot of the day. So, um, yeah. So, yeah. Uke. So, and then Saturday during class will be rainy, which is actually a good thing because if you are teaching, you don't want it to be like 80 and sunny outside late this time of year because your students are kind of looking out the window and saying, "Hey, like I could be, I could be out there, I could be home," and it's. I'd rather have like you know adverse weather where they're like, "Oh," um, so, but yeah, I'm wrapping things up with this class now. This class does presentations on the last day, legal presentations. So I have them sign up for different cases, and I find some really interesting stuff. Um, but because there's a lot of students, I most of class is going to be presenting these different legal things. Then I'll like give a little synopsis and say, well, here's how it applies for whatever. And um, but it kind of threw things off a little bit because I thought people would partner up more this year because I said you can do this in groups of two or three, which everybody in the past was like great because then they would find somebody else and split the work, right? Division of labor. And in this class, everyone is largely in solo mode. They're like, I'll do this and on my own. But then instead of, you know, X number of presentations, it's twice that number because people are going solo. So I think next year if I keep that if I keep that presentation thing, I'm not going to have an option where you can do it solo. You have to do it it with somebody else or a group of 3 because it gets too long, otherwise. And I think when people present, um, if they present with somebody else, there's a little bit of a I don't know. It seems like it's a little bit more dynamic, too, if you have 2 people presenting. So, am I going 6 hours right now? I'm not gonna go real long. I see we're at an hour. I'm hoping for 6 watch hours, right? I'm I have a couple things I need to do tonight. I need to jump back into my university class and see if anyone has submitted papers, um, to basically see if I have to queue up another email to go out and schedule it for 7:30 tomorrow, saying, "Hey, by the way, papers due." Um, so I know people have a lot going on, but what if everything gets submitted at the end? Then my Friday night gets really long with grading. So um, yeah, so we'll see. Monday night, the birthday show could be pretty good. Coop, it's my birthday on Monday. Crazy stuff, right? So yeah. Um, Today would have actually been a good day to bike. I didn't bike, but it would have been a good day because it wasn't very windy. The humidity was right. Um, and so I took a walk though. So I did like the 8, 9 mile walk around the 2 lakes and came back um, and I walked by this village of condos of retired people, and a couple of them were out. Ruth, and I forget the guy's name. So, and I'm like, hey, like I didn't think I'd see you again this year because I don't walk this route when it's cold and snowy. But it was good. It was good to be out. So yeah, I feel like there was something that was somewhat eventful today, but I don't really remember what it was. It's interesting too because when I walk, so where we do have sidewalk, right? Um, this is, um, people walking towards you. Most people they'll. It's kind of like a game of chicken, right? But I'll walk off to the side or something. But there'll be people who will clear out like a whole area. I don't know if I'm like an intimidating figure when I'm out walking but I'm like, we can share the sidewalks, 4 feet here. You don't have to like go out on the road. But yeah. So we'll look at his bacon. Um, Jimmy doesn't have to. Every hour per person counts as a watch hour, so he should be well over the finish line by now. I'm hoping, right, Bacon? Um, so yeah, and Monday night is the birthday show. Um, and I think what we'll do is, for a while we'll do the pin tweet, and then but I won't be doing that a whole lot. But on Monday, so Nate is saying show over. Nate is trying to shut the show down. So it's not a really exciting one tonight, but behind Doc, of course. Thanks, Jim. Um, it's been, yeah, I think right. You go. I think the Preston Rice shows are really cool. Um, those are the ones, episodes 40 and 41. I think episode 40, the second one, is a 2-part thing. We went out to a field and he had his drone and we are kind of like doing the search and rescue thing with his drone and that was a neat video because I took my camcorder out there and like I was really getting into it and cut it all together, and so yeah. Um Man Against the Masses, I don't know if that counts toward watch hours. So the reason I'm in also using straight up YouTube and not StreamYard is I'm not sure all my StreamYard hours are coming over and counting. I've kind of read that a little bit too, that some other people question that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen with StreamYard. I'm just saying it's not quite as precise, right? But if you're here, right, there is no doubt that this is the system. It's kind of weird that YouTube doesn't have a better interface. Like they don't let you bring in actually to super chat though, I don't think I can use StreamYard. Um, I never thought about that. I have to use this. And but that's a good question because I I I don't know. No, actually I think I still could use StreamYard. I think it would still show up in StreamYard. I don't know. I have to learn. I have to talk to Aaron about that and see how that works because he doesn't use StreamYard, but somehow like he pulls. I can't pull any of your stuff up on screen. I can't highlight any of you, and I'm running the normal, um, YouTube stuff here. So I don't know. I got to figure that out. So if anybody knows, um, yeah. So let me go over here and check my channel. So thank you for 19 people being in here watching. So I appreciate that. Um, I want to find a couple more really good early shows, and let's do that. So playlist safety doc. Um, no. Playlist, not a video. Playlist. View playlist. All right. Hang on. I'm going back here, finding the Justin Dooley one was really a blast. Chuck Mack, TJ Martinell. Here's episode 62. So this is the one with Justin Dooley. And so let me share this one out. EP 62 of the safety doc with Justin Dooley. So this is a fun show. A lot of humor in here. We talked about the stuff. So we're both from Wisconsin, right? So we did a show and an in-person show, and we brought things that we thought would be essential to keep in your car during winter because, right, car skids off the road or whatever, or you get caught in snowstorm. So so it's a fun show, and check that one out. So that's a good one. Katie Pashon here. Let's see. Oh yeah, some of these aren't in order. So, well, hey, I got one with Aaron Clary. So let me bring this one out here. So copy. So next guest, Aaron Clary, talking about reconnaissance man. So this was a fun episode. This was back, I think, when Aaron was still living in his place, his original place in Minnesota, his rental, which he owned, and then he rented the top of it out. So yeah, that was a good one. And then let me see. So, I don't know. Well, those are some of that'll give you enough. Like those are some good episodes. And if you follow Aaron Clary, right, of the Clary podcast and the Clary fame. So Aaron and I both, grew up in Wisconsin. So known Aaron for quite a while. So there's the link with the show to Aaron. So that's a fun one. And again, that show to Justin Julie was a lot of fun. So yeah, and there's just a lot of shows where I kind of have topics, but with the guests, like those are really great ones. What do you keep in your car up there in the Great White North? Just a sat phone so you don't die on the side of the road. So it's a good question. So um, we typically keep glow sticks and we a shovel, a small shovel, not super small, but steel shovel to be able to get you out of like kind of snow or ice because plastic will just snap off. Um, Shovel, a wool blanket, like an army surplus blanket. So there's a whole thing we move into the vehicles this time of year. Hand warmers. So and God, so what else? We already have a flashlight and stuff like that. It usually is it's yeah, the blanket, and then I have a couple of those thermal space blankets, which are just like aluminum foil type things, and so they're just one-time use. But yeah, that's what get moves, and then a brush, like to brush the snow and scrape the ice off. That moves in. Um, so And the glow stick isn't to keep warm. Glow stick won't keep you warm, but the glow stick is if you're stranded or something, right? Or you don't want to keep your lights on and burn your battery. You can use a glow stick, and then also, you can put it in your window for some visibility, so people can see you. Um, but that's why we have the glow stick. Or if you had to be out, right? If there's was some reason where you had to be out and leave the vehicle, you could use this for visibility. So, um, yeah, I have some glow sticks I just took down that I put up in front of the house for Halloween. Some military spec ones, which did glow um, last night as well as on Halloween. I didn't order any new ones for this year because I wasn't going to blow $30 on a box of glow sticks. I usually put them up in the tree in the front. It's a pretty cool effect, but um, it just didn't seem like a good way to spend money. Although, like, there was an amazing number of um, people in our neighborhood giving out full size candy bars. So maybe that's something to revisit for next year is to go and to make the investment in full size candy bars. I like to do that one time, um, to be that be one of those houses that gives out the full size candy bars. Um, Ultra Limited. I lived in Ohio for 2 years. It was a rough adjustment for a Southern guy. Had to learn snow real fast. Yeah, when I was working at my first job with a hospital, we had a physical therapist from like Nigeria. Ulu was his name. Ulu, um, and he got a driver's license, right, or had a driver's license, but had never driven in snow. Actually, had never encountered cold weather. So like the whole like winter thing really threw him off. One day he was late coming into work. And but then it was before cell phones. Somebody went to track, where he would have come from his apartment, and he flipped his car over on ice. He was okay. He was like standing next to the car, like all shivering. And they brought him to work. And I remember he had glass in his hair, like tempered glass. And he was physically okay, like a little bruises, stuff like nothing. But I remember this shiny glass. I think it was kind of like all over this tempered glass. But yeah, he you know, never encountered black ice, right? And it's pretty common. So yeah, I my car doesn't handle winter well because I have low profile tires, and even though I put on like more of a winterish tire, it doesn't make a difference. So the SUV has all-wheel drive. So if we have to do anything, that is always the preferred vehicle. And I just am very careful of where I will go in winter. Because even like around here on the streets, like, you get used to it after a little bit. And I mean, like I've been here my whole life, but your car will move, it'll slide 6 feet and come back, or your back end will fishtail. And again, like in winter, after when you get to February, I mean, it's pretty much old school, especially if it's in town. It's not a big deal. I mean, you're not running into curbs and stuff like that. Um, but if it's anything like highway driving or stuff like that, yeah, then it's the all-wheel drive and slowing things down. And I don't like winter driving at all. Absolutely hate it. So again, thankfully, you with the weather forecast and stuff like that, you can navigate around that, and they keep the interstates and the big roads kind of salted and scraped down. But you love driving in the snow, man. Not for me. I don't. And I used to walk a lot in summer I walked a lot, like 8, 9 miles, which I walk today. In winter, we don't have a lot of sidewalks in my town, third oldest town in Wisconsin. So you end up walking on roads and stuff, and it's slippery. So even with like cleats, I typically would fall a couple times. Now I have a big like winter pea coat on. As you fall, like you kind of roll into the fall, so it's not like one of these things where you're falling back, hitting your head and stuff like that. Um, but it is like, ugh, you know, um, there's not a real safe place to walk, right? Because things thaw, melt, and um, the high school track here is good until the first snow, and then after that, obviously they don't plow that. That's a special rubberized track thing, so it's just like stays till April, and then the snow melts, so that wipes that out. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I used to like doing so when I walk during the day in winter, so you can have some idea. Because at night it just was too um, things would freeze, and it wasn't safe. So yeah, Nate saying snow's not too bad, ice is scary. Yeah, you're right. Ice is worse. Um, so I don't, and then it's just a pain because the vehicles get all salt covered, and um, you know, I just, I, r- that whole time from end of November into like April 1st is just a downer. But, um, yeah, Jim, it's the best way. It keeps you from getting cocky. Yeah. I mean, the first few snowfalls of the year, really, you got to get back on your game. Um, so yeah, that is, um, wow. Ukasing 96 Volkswagen Golf that I used had a hot wire. Oh, I installed a push button start. Holy smokes. I did that on a riding lawnmower once. Only ran in second gear and had to travel 100 miles a day for work on the highway. Wow. I did a spring break, and my friend had a Volkswagen Golf that he was like installing a stereo and doing some other work. And he didn't have a lot of the work completed by the time we left. And it overheated outside of the Metrodome. Like we were on that time the highway or whatever, because there was Metrodome. And by the way, we're going to the Brewers. This was back in like 91. We were going to a Brewers Twins game at the Metrodome. We're walking up, and some people are like, "Hey, like, are you guys looking for tickets?" I'm like, I guess. And they're like, "Well, we got two people who aren't showing up. Like, so here's some tickets if you want them." So we got tickets, and they were like out bleacher type stuff. They had this everything, kind of folded up, like all the seats and stuff like that. But it was free, right? And I remember we're out there, and some dude unravels a flag, like a Brewers flag, I think, because we're in Minnesota. In Minneapolis. So this dude unravels a flag and sets it on fire, like 3 rows ahead of us. And there weren't many people at the game, so the seats 60,000 or maybe 15, 20,000 people there. And like security came, like tackle this guy and put the flag out. I mean, there was nothing big that was going to happen, but I'm like, it's just weird. 1991, this guy brings out this flag. I almost think it was a Twins flag, like he was protesting his own team ineptitude. I was like, I'm just like, not with us. That was interesting. So back at the Metrodome, they always had this thing where the stadium roof was kept elevated by negative pressure or positive pressure, no, inside the building. So they always had fans going, and that was the deal, right? It was just because the pressure was a little bit higher that the roof would stay up. So, kind of an interesting concept, I guess. Now, in a cold weather climate with big snowfalls, they had issues with that because a couple times it would cave in parts and they'd have to like fix it. But I remember you'd go through a couple sets of doors and it would always be like this vacuum sensation when you went through. So, you know, it was an interesting. I only went there, I think, once. I don't know. Maybe I was there twice. So, um, yes, that is good. So let me check here. Ron Wayne has sent me a thumbnail. So let me. Oh my God. Ron, that is really cool. So I will use that. Look at that. Man, that is cool. So I'd like to show everybody, but I'm only using the um, I'm not using StreamYard, I'm just using YouTube, so I can't do this. But so that's cool. Thanks. Now that task is done. I'll get that up and so people start to have that show up. Cool. Thank you, Ron Wayne. Um, Jim is saying slight overpressure to hold up a dome. Yeah, so you can go back the Metrodome in Minneapolis, which they replaced about 5 years ago, I think. But yeah, um, so interesting, interesting. So we went to Little Rock, Arkansas, for spring break, which the only criteria we had is we wanted to go somewhere warm because again, in Wisconsin, it was cold, 20s and 30s. So I remember at night as we were approaching Little Rock, and it was like some state highway or something. So it wasn't great. Back then, you didn't have GPS, so we're just trying to figure out per signs and whatever. And I remember I'm like, "Is it getting warmer in here?" And my friend Vern, who's driving, rolls the window down. He's like, "Oh my god!" It was like 70 and humid out, and it was just this amazing. So we had all the windows rolled down, and just couldn't believe it, right? I mean, that holy smokes, it's actually warm here. There's no snow. So, yeah. Pontiac, the Silverdome, yeah, kind of a similar concept to the Metrodome. They tore that one down. So, what's all this lockup Ron stuff? So, Misty Mrs. Wayne said she was contemplating a citizen's arrest. So, Ron hadn't mowed the lawn and watered the flowers, hadn't taken the trash out. So, 3 strikes. According to Kentucky law, that's a citizen's arrest. About 7 years in local jail for that. But um, anyway, we're pulling for you. I see the hashtag on Twitter is free Ron Wayne. So Elon Musk has just tweeted. He's like, whatever it takes, I'm there. He's going to Starlink over the jail, so you do have internet access. That's what he said. I think he needs to do more than that, though. A little diplomacy to keep Ron Wayne free him from the citizen's arrest. Um, so, well, let's just say things worked out in my favor, CNT, and armed simply by timing, we weren't hanging out. So, Uke. Whoa. Oh my goodness, you guys. I'd never lock you up, Ron. Do you mind? Oh my goodness, you guys. So, oh my goodness here. Yeah. Barney Fife, citizens arrest. So we're going to talk about citizens arrest. We're having our lawyer friend, legal man, will be on the show, and that's the pinned chat up above. He has the podcast, The Quash. Punchy. That'll be a punchy episode, man. I'm really I feel whoa, like the legal man is coming on the show. This is a big thing. Billboard, free Ron, like save Ferris. Yeah, there'll be a new version of Ferris Bueller, a kind of a contemporary remake, but it's going to be Ron Wayne. Actually, it'd have to be of a mix of a Ferris Bueller and Cannonball Run and Smokey the Bandit. You'd have to like take all three of those and like just say we got to make a movie out of this. Like we've got to give homage to all three of these. So I don't know what that would be, but yeah. So it has to have a Trans Am. We have to have a modern Jackie Gleason in there. A semi trailer filled with Coors. So we're getting closer. Yeah. Nate's saying also in blackouts, if people were inside, they had to have massive generators always on hand just in case they lost pressure. Yeah. In like the Metrodome and the stuff like that. So, and in the cold weather climates, at least the Metrodome failed. The roof caved in during a big snowfall. So it just obviously couldn't hold up the weight, and it wasn't easy to clean the snow off the roof because it was just basically it's like canvasy, light canvas thing. So, um, you know, isn't that the Fast and the Furious movies? Yeah, it probably could be. And the whole thing with Ron Wayne there, you can't drive below 55 miles an hour. So, yeah, like the whole, it's kind of like a speed aspect of it too. Everything has to be done at 55 miles an hour or faster. So, Ron Wayne, a lot of people know Ron Wayne locally as the Kentucky Batman. So, yeah, I remember when I was down in Paducah, and I heard a couple people talking about the Kentucky Batman, and I'm like, I'm not from here, but I'm like, are you talking about Ron Wayne? And they're like, of course. And they said, you don't have to be around here to know that Ron Wayne is the Kentucky Batman. And I said, yeah, it's legend has it. I'm from Wisconsin, and it's still part of lore up there, the Kentucky Batman. So yeah, CNN is, we're trying to get word from the Kentucky Batman. They have a picture of Ron Wayne that is put up in the sky there, but he's a busy guy, the Kentucky Batman. So I like that. It has a good ring to it. In my book, The Velocity of Information, when I wrote about Chuck Mack and University of Pittsburgh Med and how he stayed there, IT, right, head of IT, to keep all of the stuff going when they're going to telemedicine and stuff during the pandemic. And he stayed, he had a dorm fridge and a couch, and he didn't go home. He just stayed there for days. And I said, if I was redoing that chapter, I would actually title it The Pittsburgh Batman. But but I kind of refer to him now as the Pittsburgh Batman. So yeah. So Mouse is saying, if you have not got one, a pressure canner, jars, lids, rings, starting to get scarce. Whoa. So Ron is saying, no, I'm Batman. Yes. Be more on point. He is Batman. Pressure canner, pressure cooker, roger that. Yep. So today was a big swing in the stock market, up big early. Then Jerome Powell, federal, the chair of the Federal Reserve, comes out and says we're raising rates, and then also pretty hawkish statements of probably keep raising rates. So, and then interest rates on certificates of deposit went up pretty sharp in the last like 3 days across the country. 1-year Treasury bills are up close to 5%, just under. So, like if you're investing or hold stocks, this is the continuation of what's not been a good year, and the market, going down. And my personal thought is, I think the market's just going to keep going down for the rest of the year because, the boost from election, usually markets tend to rally before a midterm election, but I mean, that's a week away, right? So I don't think there's going to be much movement. And then I don't see it. Like anything that's going to really move the market higher. So I think we're in for a long road here of maybe, into April or May. I mean, just my own thought is I would be really surprised to see things kind of rally to the end of the year Um, I just don't think so. Um, Personally, like I'm really defensive in, my investments and all of that. Like I am hyper defensive because I figure, you know, I I'm really hedging against losses. I'd rather have a very small gain than a very big loss at this stage in life, um, for finances. So CNT is saying, raised a girlfriend's kid like mine of 2 years. So, wow. Um, and Joe Morris, about $40 in gasoline a day. It was a very volatile investment. Uh, wow. Bat cave technician, Jim. So, yeah, wouldn't that be cool? So, I have a bat cave story for you guys, and this is a true story. So, so when I was a special education director, one of the things that you might be familiar with this too in the chat is it's called an IEP, individualized education plan. So a student with a disability would have an IEP, and then that would be, identify what supports, what special curriculum they would need, right, in order to make gains. So if the student was age 14 or older, there's this part called transition planning. So, if they want to be a plumber, or if they want to be a YouTuber, or I mean whatever it is, or they want to, you know, go to college and engineer, whatever it is, right? Whatever they want to do, you have to have a plan, a transition plan, which is part of their IEP. You have to do this. So this was early in my career. This was like 22 years ago, 21, 22 years. This actually happened. So one of the things would be you'd get a kid, right, who'd say, I'm going to play in the NBA, or I'm going to play in the NFL, play for Green Bay Packers, right? It's Robert Ribbit Harrison, by the way, zero weight oil, especially in winter. Um, you get a kid who'd say, I'm going to play for the Green Bay Packers. And he'd be like, that's my goal. And you'd be like, well, that's not probably realistic. Well, and the thing is, like, even if like you're a super athlete, your chances of making it to the NFL, right, be pretty slim, or pro sports. You have to have a plan B. So, like, what can you do that would be similar to like being a pro athlete? Well, maybe you want to be into journalism, or writing things, or is it like the fitness side? So you want to get trained as a trainer, or what are things that are similar? And there was a kid who, and we're all around the meeting, right? And I think parents are there, and I don't know if like if an advocate's there, or somebody from Department of Vocational Rehab, which usually helps at that time, help students as they were getting out of school with, you know accessing services in the community. But the kid said, I want to fight crime. And we're like, all right. Um, Now, wouldn't have been able to be a police officer, didn't have the um, wasn't able to do that. Um, so yeah, let me put down here, individualized education plan. So we're like, okay. And then he's like, well, I want to. So we're like, oh, tell us more about that, right? And the kid's like, I want to be Batman. I'm like, okay. And then, like, I don't know, Batman's like a TV character, right? Movies and stuff like that. So, like, maybe like you want to like photography or film stuff, or like write stuff, or work in, like a Radio Shack or something where there's some cool technology. Like, we're trying to go along, and the kids, but then the parents got on board, and they're like, if he wants to be Batman, and then the meeting kind of went off the rails. Like, he wanted to buy property which he either had a cave, or was had a hill that he could make a cave, and that's where he would like live and build like a house or whatever, have this done. And I'm like, at what point do we stop the meeting and say, like, we've got to get it back in the real world here? The kid, we're not going to write this plan again. This is like 21, 22 years ago. We're not going to write a plan where Joe is going to buy a piece of property that has a cave on it and retrofit the cave to accommodate a Batmobile, and he will then be fighting crime in some kind of unaffiliated multi-jurisdictional task force way. And like nobody stopped it, right? And it was kind of the state was like, giving some guidance at that time of like, let kids figure out their interest and kind of build off it. Again, I was trying to like steer this, and I was like the only one at the meeting trying to steer this into something that was sensible. And the parents went along with it and other people went along with it. And I don't know where things ever went with that. It was just a strange meeting. And I don't know what the plan looked like, but it kind of ended with Joe's going to find a piece of property that either has a cave, can have an area dug out as a cave, can be in a hill with a dugout in part. That's where he's going to live. He's also going to independently fight crime. So, and that was the plan. Weird. And again, I was the only one who was like, what else? Like, so you want to fight crime? So, like you want a detective, or you want to be like in a citizens, police force here, or, like maybe the Department of Natural Resources, like park ranger, because keeping the parks, safe and stuff. Like, nope. I am, I'm going to be the Wisconsin Batman. And to this day, I will never forget that meeting. And we left there and I was like, what just happened? Because that actually got written into a plan. So the family probably still has it to this day. It was, and I was, being young in my career, like I was just kind of like, is this the way every meeting is going to go? Is this normal? And there were some interesting ones out there, but that was the most interesting. And again, people kind of played into it, like his parents, and then like this DVR person was. So you want to live, kind of like not in the city, right? Okay, like we got that, but the dude's not going to live in a cave. Don't write that into his plan. Like, so that just went way too far in one direction. So holy smokes. Wow. So let's go over to the chat. So Robert Ribbit Harrison, it's our good friend with Zero Weight Oil. So yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't do that either, Doc, says Nate. So yes, I got tired of being clever to get doxxed anyway. So yeah, let's see here. How is he going to buy said property? Yeah. So it's a good thing, right, Nate? Like back then, property was probably not that expensive. And maybe that wasn't the biggest barrier to this whole plan of getting the cave was probably doable, maybe, but I'm not sure. Independently, I guess we'll find out when we have the legal man on if you could citizens arrest and how that would work out for you back to 22 years ago. But like, holy smokes. The kid today probably has a cave, probably goes out at night. It's kind of this undercover justice type thing he's been doing for the last 20 years. So none of us know. He's affiliated all across the world. So, yeah. He'll show up tomorrow and I'll be outside Rake and he'll be like, remember me? I'd be like, I don't. He's like, the Wisconsin Batman. You were at the meeting. And then he'll just be gone. So, yeah. IP is, awful close to IED if you didn't hear it right the first time. Yeah. Individualized Education Plan. So the law for that, it's called the Individuals with Disability Education Act, IDEA, is very old. Hasn't been reauthorized in 18 years. It was supposed to be reauthorized, revisited every 5 years. So parts of it are really antiquated. It doesn't make sense today. So schools try to make it work, but special education law is outdated. It's not that it's irrelevant. It's just it hasn't been reauthorized. It hasn't been revisited and modernized in 18 years, and it was supposed to be every 5 years. So all of the stuff that was written was before social media, for example. Um, that's nowhere in there. A lot of the medical stuff, as far as like food allergies, aren't addressed in there, and we can, there's just we can kind of go on and on, but it's this really old piece of legislation before modern times, and it's a big issue for people in schools because it really needs an overhaul. Look, it's Old Humble Distilling Company. So what's up, baseball fans? Houston Astros. So look at that there. And I'm running just the regular YouTube thing, so I can't do anything fancy like bring you in and have a baseball fly across the screen, all the stuff I could do in StreamYard. But it was kind of a finicky start here. My UCam software will try to override the as soon as you start up the system here, it tries to start. So I got to go in and change some settings on that, or just like get rid of the program altogether. So, and then when you do it through StreamYard, then you have like these competing programs that are kind of duking it out for the camera. So, but it was weird because today I had a meeting, and then all of my stuff worked, but the person on the other side could only get their audio. But then we're just like, well, let's just go with it. So that was a good meeting. An entire meeting I just ran literally off of a Post-it note. A 1 hour meeting I ran off of a small Post-it note. So that's being dialed in the moment. I went and I got a 24-ounce coffee at the gas station, like I can walk to. And I'm like, I'm going to be on my game. And I was. So I took a couple notes there as they were going through things. And so, yeah, very interesting. So it was one of those meetings I knew I didn't have to do a lot coming into it, let the person be prepared and stuff like that. So all good stuff. Uke, my old band, went on tour with Dave Brocky. So look at that. Z is here. Look at that. I've been to at least 5 shows. Never let down. Good. It's going 7 games for sure. Old Humble. So yeah. And then after that, if it goes in the extra innings, they just like throw the new rule is you have to like throw at the batter. And it's the last team standing. So it's kind of brutal. But once you get past that 15th inning in game 7, every pitch is a fastball. So got to be really nimble. If you can dodge it, get to first base, first 4 team that does that, 4 players, you win. Threw a no-hitter tonight. So coolio. It's good stuff. I have a lot of Green Bay Packers apparel over the years of just like growing up in Wisconsin. And now that the Packers are bad, I'm just like, man, I don't want to wear this anymore. I got polos, and when we go places and you throw on a polo, like it was cool back, during the Favre, Rodgers, but I'm just not into it anymore. So actually, I kind of want to purge the wardrobe of a lot of my Packers stuff. I'll keep my visor, but like I don't want a lot of the other stuff. I'm not really into the whole sports apparel. I'm not saying Olam, but like obviously, like the Astros and the World Series, like that's all cool. I'm just saying, like being in Wisconsin my whole life, you kind of get disproportionate with Green Bay Packers apparel because everyone's like, hey, it's the gift, right? I mean, for anything, it's your bar mitzvah. Here's a Packers jersey of Sterling Sharp, So if you go through your wardrobe, you're 25%. Here's a Packer polo shirt. Here's a button down t-shirt, socks. I've got like 5 baseball hats. Here's the 1996 Super Bowl 31, gloves for winter or something. I mean, there's just so much merch. It's so hyper merchandised. And so like for Halloween, it's so prevalent. Like the Packers stuff is all over. But there were a lot of Ghostbusters this year. And there were actually three dudes who were probably like 8, 9 years old who came up, and one had the Ghostbuster song playing in his proton pack. They did a little pseudo dance and the Ghostbusters. It was really good. So did not see one politician, by the way. There wasn't one, which was unbelievable. I thought for sure like somebody was going to get on that, right? And to do the politician thing. Not one out of like 1,000 kids, not one politician. So um Mike is saying 600 horsepower of diesel fury in front, 8 speed under the hood. Oh my goodness. How dare you? Yeah. Uke is a shredder on guitar. I've seen the videos. Wow. Very cool. Very cool. If I had some interest, it would be like harmonica. I have a World War II, and I think it's in one of my drawers here, still in the box, that my godfather had, a World War II harmonica. So that, you know, 'cause harmonica, like I think that's something you could pick up, right? And especially if you're just kind of hanging out by yourself, and you could get a basal level of being probably pretty decent with it. That's kind of like the unsung instrument. It's super portable, right? I mean, and now the thing with the harmonica, right, is you can only like do that for so long, but before people are like, okay, enough the harmonica, like we're good. So you kind of do your one song with the harmonica, and then that's it. It's always like a complementary instrument, right? Because you can't sing while you're doing it, but um, really, guitar's easier than harmonica. So, wow. I can play drums on a 5 gallon pail, so I can do that. But yeah, I don't know. Here's something I regret not learning, and if I could go back to my younger self, like my teenage self, I'd be like, learn magic. Honestly, like get really good at a few things, like, where you can make a quarter disappear, or, a pen, and I had some stuff I was pretty good, like prop magic, like horseshoes, the ring in the middle, and I could figure out how to get the ring out, stuff like that. And I I just think there's so many opportunities, even professionally, right, to just do like casual magic stuff and not reference it, and like teaching at the university level. God, if I could do a, some sleight of hand stuff, when you're writing on the board or doing some other stuff, like I just think it'd be fun. Where just maybe that type of stuff where I don't really need a lot of prop things, right? Because I'm teaching, I can't set up a big show, but the stuff would be where you don't acknowledge it in the moment. Like people see it and you just make it part of what you do. Because I do that. I have a very dry sense of humor, and like people laugh, I'm going through stuff, and yeah, but I don't but I'm kind of like that's a missing thing. And I just wish I wish I had learned that, and taken some time, and actually maybe taken less. I don't know where you take lessons when I was a kid, but to have somebody teach, like in Vegas when we were there, like, I learned how to elevate like a playing card, but they don't tell you how to do it until you agree to buy the trick, and then they like take it behind and they'll show you. But then it's like a fine piece of hair, and then I'm like, well, I don't want to deal with like this and the sticky stuff to like elevate. I mean, I just come on, man. I want like a skill thing, like a sleight of hand, right? I don't want things I have to like continually buy and kind of do setup. So like, just like some of the easy stuff. Um, so anyway, like you're probably never too old for that, but I if I could do one thing, I'd like to meet someone that knows magic and could teach me like 3, 4 things I could do in front of people when I'm teaching. And again, I'm not referencing it as I'm doing it. It just is happening, right? So like as you're grabbing a piece of chalk, or or writing something on the board, and suddenly something vanishes or changes, or I just think it'd be awesome. I think as a student, like it'd be awesome. have a prof doing that. And I think there's just so many times in general you can use it to break the ice. Like as an administrator, it would have been really cool. Um, Tossing birch bark into a campfire. Bolo, favorite magic trick. Does it? I don't know what happens. We have birch bark tree in our backyard. Birch tree, actually. I practiced close up magic during the pandemic, like Scott from Ant Man did. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, yeah, like coin type magic. Coins is super easy to learn. Um, so yeah, that's actually something like I could actually see like taking a class on basic magic. And probably where I live, there's probably something like that that's actually offered. And actually there's in Wisconsin Dells, there's like professional magic shows and stuff like that. And I wonder if there is something of saying like, hey, like, here's what I'm doing. Again, it's kind of a professor, instructor, and stuff like that, and maybe some sleight of hand and whatever. But um, anyway, so I figured if he was under house arrest and did it, I could do it while under quarantine. Old Umbo, look at this guy. He's all magic. You're watching his shows and said it's like all this magic-y stuff going on. And I'm like, holy smoke, look at the guy there. So um, Mike McLuhan is saying, well, it's that time of night to close up shop. Mike's going to magically make his shop close. And everyone joining in this evening, have a good night. I'll catch you later. Thanks, Mike. Mike's going to do the magic thing where he's going to have the remote starter in his pocket, and he'll be like, hocus pocus. He'll be like, car startus, or like, Ford F-350 startus, and then suddenly he'll start. So that'll be kind of his thing. But yeah, now that I think about it, and maybe I'll do one magic trick here on my birthday, but I'd love to learn a little bit of magic and kind of invest some time into practicing a couple things, and try to just be like a New Year's goals. I want to learn 4 tricks I can do without like much prop stuff that I could do in person in my university class. Again, that I'm not going to reference in the moment. There's not going to be this big setup with the class. It's just going to happen. I'm just going to move on from whatever I'm able to like magically do. So it's Twisted Art Lady. I think I've seen you here before. Like, I think you were on Bacon Show. If not, Twisted Art Lady, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 4,000 watch hours. We were 6 watch hours shy, coming in 3,994 on the wall. Pass it around, but we're almost there. So you're going to get that devil on you messing with that magic duck. Yeah. I don't know. In my age, is there, I don't know. There's all, I watched the Poltergeist last night, and I'm like, I could probably handle it. So that's a freaky show, by the way. Yeah. Poltergeist is a freaky show, but I'm sub. Well, thanks, Twist Lee. That's what Mama said, Nate D. So yeah, hit the house by now. So cool. Yeah, I mean, probably wake up tomorrow. I'll have like, it'll keep setting me back. It's like running down the hallway, and it's just this illusion. It's kind of Willy Wonka factory. Oh, like 3,000. I did screenshot it. So it's Vanessa Kitty. Look at this. Vanessa, we are within 6 hours of being monetized. Well, being eligible to be monetized, right? There's a process, but I'm pretty confident. I was reviewing that I'll be okay. You have to have a show theme and content. I think we're going to be in good shape. But so Nate, all those movies where bad things happen to people practicing magic. So and putting up a simple salt circle. I have Epsom salt out in my garage. That stuff is super powerful. Keep the bad spirits away. So yeah, I'm not trying to conjure spirits. I'm just trying to make a $50 disappear. So not like Ron Wayne. Ron's like Ron is like a hocus pocus. TV out of focus. There it was. And they had to get a new 4K TV. But yeah, I'm not trying to. Yes, I'm not trying to go to that side of things of conjuring up the spirits. I'm just trying to learn some sleight of hand for entertainment. So, but You got this. Yeah, hopefully, Robert, it's be a cool thing, So, um, but so bacon is back. Nate, haha, seems simple enough. Expecto Patronum, Ron Wayne. So, have the only spirits you need to conjure. This is Old Humble Distilling Company. Absolutely right. It's my birthday on Monday, Joe. And we're doing a special birthday show. Ron Wayne already sent the thumbnail over for it. So I'll be 51. So we're going to focus on Area 51. So if I'm 51 years old, I'm at Area 51. What are 51 things that could happen to me if I was at Area 51? So, yeah. So we're going to come up with 51 things that could happen with Doc at Area 51 on his 51st birthday. So I know where that show's probably going to go quickly. So we got Bob Lazar is going to be on the show. Probably not, but we're going to see if we can get him. Harry Potter. Yeah. Harry Potter. You would kill someone with your first spell. Huh? Well, holy smokes. Uke. So you are so old. I am old. I remember the time before cordless phones, actually. I remember just the landline ring phone, right? That there was only one in a house. And the scoreboard at our local base, we only had one baseball field, and it was manual turn scoreboard, or you put the numbers up in the outfield after the inning, right? So someone was hired for like $2, and they would stand on this platform and change the score. So old times, man. Growing up, I remember when Saturday nights was the Love Boat, followed by Fantasy Island. Yeah. So I did say Bob Lazar. So we're going to try to get Bob Lazar on the show. I think the chance is very low, but my birthday, 51, Area 51, Bob Lazar, who worked at Area 51. We're going to try to make it happen. Yeah, I've watched and listened to a lot of Bob Lazar's stuff. So I downloaded quite a few of his podcasts. A couple of years ago, I was driving to university. I'd be listening to Bob Lazar talking about like the Area 51 stuff. So, is there a way we can do online orders from you, Old Humble CNT? So, yeah, I guess, Joe, that's a question for you. So, as Lisa would say, you can mail anything, right? So, and Joe, by the way, of Old Humble, I won a contest, and he sent me a very well packaged bottle of whiskey that I have upstairs. That will be for some special occasion, but so really cool, really cool. And so I'm going to say, like, if you order, like, it was really well packaged, like very safely done. Not like the way Amazon, or not Amazon, Best Buy sent the speaker, basically in its own box within a refrigerator box with like a piece of newspaper inside of it. So yeah, email apparently info@oldhumbledistilling.com. Let's go back in here. I just put it as the new pinned tweet. So, some states you can't have liquor shipped to your home. So, really, I'm sure the latter says. So, yeah, Old Humble and stouts. Yeah, actually, Uke, I do a dark stout on the Monday night shows. God, why can't I even think of the brand? But I'm big into stouts too. A dark beer. You need a dark beer. Yeah, I mean stout. So the Astros threw a no-hitter tonight. Houston all the way, buddy. It's good color scheme too. It's very bright and uplifting, the uniforms. And I mean that sincerely. Like that has it's good looking uniform. You can pull in a polo shirt, you can of the Astros and stuff. You can build a theme around that. So like the Marlins, like what can you do with that? Like where do you wear a Marlin shirt? Oh, it doesn't go with anything. It's got weird patterns on it. It's like the design that they had on warships, so you couldn't figure out where the bow and the sternware and stuff. It's just crazy. But the Astros, like it's just like a uplifting, kind of sunny, Southwest colors, tones, right? Well, those of you, right, who know baseball and things. So, um, let's see here. Guinness exercise is it Guinness? You guys probably see the bottles. I think it is Guinness actually. So you wear a Marlin shirt to a World Series watch party to see the Astros. I was invited to a World Series watch party in Boston, and I went. My friend Jeff and I, we were we went to Boston. We went to Foxborough for the Monday Night Football game of the Packers in 1997 and the Patriots. And we had this whole cover story, by the way, that we were covering the show from Wisconsin, that we were like these famous DJs or famous like radio hosts. And again, you couldn't fact check. There was no internet really back then, right? I guess there was internet, but there wasn't social media. So we played it. Even like the pilot on the plane, like on the way over, played the whole thing. Like we had everybody in on it. We had it actually, we had it where we called back to a local WIFC radio and we said, we've got this thing going on where everybody thinks we're covering the game. So like it was a free ticket everywhere. There was this like exclusive watch party for the World Series. We had a Lexus and a driver from the hotel. It was the whole Hotel Terra outside of Boston, and it got to be, we were at night, like, and the dude was out with us, and he's like, "Don't worry, like I've got a gun." Honestly, this happened. Like it was 2 in the morning. It's crazy, but all these people are hanging around us, and at Monday Night Football, like there's a section on Monday Night Football where the two of us were wearing our Packers like hats and stuff, like the cheese hat, which is crazy to take on an airplane, by the way. There was like this 2-second clip of us as they do like the Monday Night Football montage at the start of the show. Like it was a big thing, but we're out there, and my friend was starting to get nervous. Jeff's like, if anybody finds out this really isn't authentic, we're in big trouble. I'm like, well, not really, because we're not like, it's not like people are giving us money. We're not panhandling based upon this thing. I said, we're kind of giving them a good story here. And like, it's a great experience. Like they're hanging out with us. And so anyway, we called back to this radio station in Wisconsin, and we're like, here's what we got going on. They think we're covering the show, but we're not, or the game. So will you guys work with us? Can we call in and do like we actually work for the radio and we're covering the Packers? And they said, yeah, it was Duff Damos. I still remember the guy's name, Duff Damos. So he's like, hey, we got these two dudes like from Wisconsin. They're out at a game, and people think they're actually there to cover the game as Wisconsin broadcasters. They're not, but we're going to bring them on the air. So then we had this dude had a flip phone. So we would call and we'd be places, and then we would hand the phone over and say like, hey, like I've got, Teddy Pendergrass here, and Ted, this is, back you're on Sports Wisconsin here. So then I hand the phone over, and Duff would be like, hey, like, how are, is Jeff and Dave, how you guys being treated out there? But oh yeah, it's good stuff. And what do you think about the game? And okay, you can put the guys back on. And it'd be like, hey, hey, I would do it. And then like Jeff was freaking out though. Like I like there was one point he's like, and so eventually I'm like, okay, you can be, we're going to change your role a little bit here. Like you're more like the writer, you're the color man. You're not. So I'll do like all of the stuff, but just like go along with it. Okay. So he was okay with that. But yeah. So anyway, we got invited to this World Series party, and so which was cool. I don't even know who was playing back then in the World Series. It wasn't Boston. It was but that was cool, and so we stayed at the same hotel as the refs for the Monday Night Football game, and yeah, we were all around Boston, and I've got a whole like scrapbook of photos and stuff. It's kind of weird. Like I have to go back to kind of jog my memory, but because we were living like this kind of like us, but not really us thing. And again, even the flight, like the American Airlines dude, the pilot was in on it, and like everybody just wanted this to happen. And I was pretty good at like convincing and selling. Again, we didn't use it for evil. I wasn't, we weren't getting comped things. We paid for our meals and this other stuff, but these people, like, they had this experience, right? Of imagine like you're there and you're like, oh, these guys are covering the game. They're from Wisconsin. And Monday Night Football back then was a really big thing. And also the Packers being on Monday Night Football because they hadn't been on Monday Night Football for, 2 decades, right? So like, 97 Monday Night Football at Foxborough was a big thing. And also, I remember at Foxborough, which was was before Gillette Stadium. It was really bad. Like, so it was a pretty abusive place, man. So like people tell you like take your cheese heads off. Like don't draw a lot of attention. Security will tell you like don't draw a lot of attention to yourself. Thankfully, we had like this group of people around. Again, it just carried into the stadium. Like the people from Boston thought we were covering the game. So then they were all hanging around us and kind of like being our Delta force, like, hey, these guys, this is Wisconsin, these dudes are good. Like they're covering the game. I'm like, damn right we are. So I'm like, I'm on the phone here with Ron Wayne. I'm Ron Wayne, and we're back in the studio. So of course they don't have a camera. I mean, but again, it made sense back then because nobody had social media and they really didn't expect you to bring a camera in. So there was kind of that radio coverage stuff. I'm like, yeah, we're good. Be at the studio tomorrow. We're gonna do a piece on this. And so it's Traveling Fools. Yo, 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 yo. Traveling Fools. So yeah, pretty much start to finish. We were the dudes covering the game. And that carried its way into the stadium. And I just remember like this group kind of protectors like formed around us in the stadium. So I was like 25 at the time or something, 25, 26. And then like, yeah, those people were just like, leave these dudes alone. So, they're covering the game. I think, yeah, it's just a good time, man. There was some dude who was also trying to like, I put him on the air once, which he really wasn't on the air. He's just talking back to the radio station. Right. And then he like wanted to continue to like do the story about the stadium and then how I think they were trying to replace it at that time. And I'm like, well, it's not like a documentary, man. I'm like, it's just updates here in the game. And I said, but yeah, I mean, he was really insistent. Like, man, he wanted to like do this. Is it okay? Like, can you talk to him? Can I do like 3 to 5 minutes about like the history of the stadium and then like the new? I'm like, I don't know, man. Again, not really the thing. So, and to have a flip phone, like a really nice flip phone, it wasn't mine. It was someone that was on the trip with us, lent it to us to keep the Mirage up. It was really weird how many people played into that. Probably like half of Boston played into that. It was just strange again how many people wanted that to be authentic and happen, and they manifested it, right? And again, it wasn't anything where we were using it to take advantage of situations. So, Doc, you gonna wear your old jersey for a birthday special? Oh my god, that would be neat. I'm gonna look for it. I don't know what it's somewhere in the house. It's in storage. I could wear my college jersey. Um, yeah, if I can find it, yeah, I think I had that one. I shared a couple of pictures of it. I know it's in the house somewhere. Um, so yeah, it's in storage. I wonder if it's going to be all like how the screened on numbers, if it's going to be all crinkly and stuff, or if it's going to be all right. So yeah, I suppose I should wear something kind of out of the ordinary. I have a really nice like Badgers shirt, like a zip up Badgers type shirt. That whenever I would wear that, like on campus and stuff, people always be like, "Where'd you get that?" I don't know. I don't know where I got it actually, but it is pretty cool. I think it was like what the coaches wore. Like one year, I was down in campus at class at UW Madison, Saturday. I had on tan slacks and that shirt, and people thought I was one of on the coaching staff. And numerous people stopped me and they're like, hey, like, are you offense, defense? I'm like, I'm just trying to get to class. I don't know. But that was a big thing. So, yeah, maybe that's the one I'll wear because I did. I kind of like just I had the look. So, blast from the past is always cool. Yeah. Um, I had a few Kentucky bourbon stouts, says Vanessa. Doc, you gonna wear your old jersey? That's Ron. Yeah, if I can find it. Um, so I've lost weight. So some of my older shirts are starting to fit again, which is like discovering a whole new wardrobe. Um, so lost weight in a good way just by not eating as much and being more active. But yeah. So let's see here. I'm still trying to. Well, I got a lot of stuff I got to do this month, but I got to start thinking about the trip to Pennsylvania for the Gettysburg get together. So I've never been to Gettysburg, and then um, Texas. So I've quite a few friends in Texas, um, and then in addition to that, it'd be good to do meetup in Kentucky. So there's some logistics with all this stuff, right? Like if I go and it's like a book tour, then kind of some of it makes sense, even if it's like me presenting at two libraries, right? A university and a library and something like that. That all got messed up during COVID, but by the way, there were supposed to be a lot of book events for philosophy of information that never got put together because no one was really willing to commit to, and I wasn't willing to commit to that either. Um, and knowing some place could be shut down or something like that. So um, it never really happened, but it still technically could. Um, so it's one of those things, right? I mean, if I the got on the phone and I'm going through and I'm like, hey, I'm going to go down and visit, like hang out with Ron and Misty for a couple days and maybe a little Kentucky meetup, but like where are like two libraries around there, right? Or a library and a VFW or something like that, where I can present, um, you know, the book. I bring down the book, and they could be like, "Hey, this guy's coming down to talk about whatever and the book," and then you know, and now it's a book event, which has some ability to have a tax write off to it, but and also just promoting the book. So it's kind of weird. Like our church here, um, see, on Misty, Mrs. Wayne, like a library event, um, does if you're working as part of a book tour, does have the that'd be a good thing, right? To come down and to do a presentation. And for them, it's free. It's a promo thing. Hey, this guy came all the way from Wisconsin to do this, and um, so yeah, yeah, it's cool stuff. So our church has a has a night where they have two people talking about like how to handle stress and stressful times, and I'm like, I just I wrote this book which was it's in the library here, it's in the newspaper, like, this is I've offered how many times for free to, like, do library event here? It's weird because it's not that they're against it, but they never take up the offer. Um, you know, it's strange, and they have turnover at the library, people don't stay that long, but, so I think that's part of it, but I think there's I don't know. I was a little taken back by that. Like, well, you know, why didn't you ask me to be a part of this or just invite me in and just to kind of talk about like that visual of hitting finite voltage and the 12 strategies to not hit finite voltage. We don't even have to try to sell a book, right? We can just do a presentation. I wanted my library to do a book study on it and said, through my publishing house, if the library contacted them, they could get the paperbacks pretty reasonable. And they do this for like other people. They'll do it for, like, for a local author who wrote like a book about, Chippy the Chipmunk or something, and self-published it. And I'll be like, dude, like I'm willing to come in and do, a book study here, which will be a lot of fun, right? And maybe, 3, 4 for days and people have a book and whatever. I mean, it's kind of weird. So I don't know. It's kind of like I said, I don't understand why they don't take take up that offer. I think one of the things is they think maybe the book is too intellectual to get into a book study, or maybe like too it can become too positional, right? Like essential, non-essential, depending upon where you sit on that topic, right? That can really change a tone of a book study pretty fast. So maybe that's where they're at. So, but yeah. So, guys, here's the deal. I'm hoping by tomorrow the show will be eligible to be monetized. We're coming into this with 6 hours. Show's been 2 hours, 14 minutes. So we have 21 people watching, 22 thumbs up. Thank you so much. Monday night, and thank you to Ron Wayne for sending me the show thumbnail. Get all of that. Um, Monday night, Vanessa stocking stuffer my audiobook. Absolutely appreciate that. 10.99 if you find it more expensive, hunt around because I priced it at 10.99. It's out there, 44 distributors. It's through Spotify is my audiobook company, I guess. Spambot Fodder, hey buddy. So Monday is my birthday show. I'll be 51 on Monday, so we'll have a fun show. And then the 10th, we have on The Legal Man, who has the Quash as his show. Big following on social media. He's an attorney for 30 plus years. He's going to talk about citizen's arrest and then, what's your best plan, right? If you end up before a jury. And that's going to be a great show. His stuff is lit. The following Monday, so a week from Monday, on the 14th, we have Lisa Lenny, our good friend, attorney Lisa Lenny, returns to the show. And she's going to talk about the law of necessity. Hey, if I have to get over here to, Misty Mrs. Wayne and Ron Wayne's property to save someone from quicksand, can I trespass? Like, I'm breaking one law, but is it to save somebody? Is that the greater good? So what does that look like, this law of necessity? And then Monday, the 21st, Mike Dahl, head of Wisconsin Esports, is going to come on. And that guy is going all over the country now. He's kind of like this one of these primary people you think of in the esports community, especially high school esports. Great guy. And he is going to come on and talk about, here's how esports is growing. Here's how quickly it's growing in schools. Here's what it looks like at the college. Here's colleges building complete stadiums on that. Here are esports state competitions held in 10,000 seat arenas, right? And they have it up on the jumbotrons and just this fascinating wave of what's happening with esports. And then also okay, I'm not in college anymore or high school, but is there an avenue where you can participate in esports as like a club? But I'm looking forward to that show. And I know Mike. I've talked to Mike. He helped put together a 3-page kind of here's esports thing document for my class that I shared for the first time this fall. Because with esports in schools, it's really big because it's mixed gender teams, and it also has a high accessibility for students with disabilities. Like you can have modified controllers and stuff like that. So some really great things. So those are 3 guests that we'll have on in November. And then depending upon how Monday night goes, Bob Lazar. But I have never contacted Bob Lazar. And so it's a very low probability that we'll have Bob Lazar, but it's the invite is there for Bob Lazar. But yeah, so we have 3 guests on, and then Traveling Fools will be coming on likely in December, and we already have the show. The show title for that is Traveling Safety, Volcano Eruptions, Arrest, and Interrogations. So we've got the show title for that one. So, oh God, we've got some really great stuff on deck. I want to do a show too where I want to talk about what it's like to be a part-time university professor, and like, should you do this if the opportunity presents itself? And because when I got into that, it was really kind of this organic process of I built this class and it was approved and I taught it. And back in the day, like it was every class was its own milk crate because again, this is before social media and a lot of kind of the internet type things. So when you taught in person, it would be like, here's the first class, milk crate, second class, milk crate. So I brought in like things, examples, books and handouts. And so when I would get ready for class, the room next to me, if I taught in fall, I literally would have like 8 milk crates. I'd have stack 4 up and then stack 4 up. And here'd be like the first class, second class, third, I would bring in a milk crate that I had all the materials ready for that class. And I used to, when I consulted in districts in Wisconsin, depending upon what they asked for consulting, if it was like bullying and harassment or school safety, I would have a different milk crate and it'd be like, boom. So it's kind of an interesting thing. It worked really well actually to have that system. Now, right, everything is just online. So, hey, can I get to my Google Drive or whatever, or I've got a thumb drive with everything I need on it, or I'd give it to them ahead of time so it's all there, waiting for me. But back in the day, in the old school thing, is I had that. I still have a small container that has some of my in-person safety like books in it, not like my safety books, but like here's the Salem Kaiser book of how to assess student threats. Like here's see, like you should get this book, and here are flow charts and flip charts, and I kind of use those as examples of like here's what makes sense, and here's like what doesn't make sense, like the ones that get way too wordy and too many tabs and stuff like that, to give those visuals. But those are kind of becoming artifacts. Like people, we're kind of beyond that. So I haven't used that for quite a while. Actually, I should clean that stuff out and just like can it. Um, so Vanessa saying we had a text-based Star Trek game on the IBM mainframe system in the 70s. Maps printed with letters representing Klingons versus Enterprise. God, that is cool. That is cool. I had a friend who had a VIC-20 computer, which came out just a little bit before the Commodore 64. I had a Commodore 64. Had a game right on Bugling Bay, where you had a helicopter coming. It would land on a ship, and then you'd go and you'd fight, and you could only take so many hits and so much fuel. And it was a great game, back, I don't know, 1981, 82. I wish I had it today. I would play it right now if I had it. So, typewriter printed out each map if galaxy as you position the Enterprise to attack like a crazy battleship. That's cool. That is really cool. So, well, all right, everybody. I mean, thank you. 19 people here. That is amazing. And so Monday night is my birthday. That'll probably be around 8 o'clock. I mean, I'll have it set up and things like that. I'm thinking probably be about 8. I got to figure out what's happening here. And 51 years old. We're going to be talking about Area 51, and it's going to be a great show. So if you want to come in the show and wish a happy birthday, we'll make that possible. Or if you want to just wish yourself a happy birthday and do that, that is good. Spam Buff Fodder, thanks. 51. So yeah, it's kind of weird because I'm like, holy smokes. I remember like when I was growing up and our neighbor turned 40. And when I was a kid, like high school, and I was like, I thought that was hard to imagine. Like, it's unbelievable. 40, holy smokes. And now I'm 51. So yeah, Vanessa, I was 16. So yeah, 51. So cool. All right, everybody. I'm gonna shut things down, hit the hay. Tomorrow I'll be working outside, taking care of the rest of the leaves, mowing, and then I'll run my mower dry and kind of disassemble it. So take the handle off of it and shove it underneath. I have an area in the front, and then I'll move the snowblower into the pole position in the garage, fire that thing up, and make sure it's all ready to go, because I would assume, within 3-4 weeks I'll be using it. So I do the moving of the summer stuff, and snowblower comes over and stuff like that. So yeah, night doc, night all, good. And good night, everybody. I can't do the airplane thing because I don't have the StreamYard thing going on. So I had the mic a little bit too close to me. So by the way, I'm really appreciating the upgrades. So I did the microphone, obviously. These are the Audio Technica monitor headphones, the Logitech Brio camera. I mean, just so much more precise, and I can go in and do tweaks and stuff like it. It's kind of a goofy show, because it didn't start up. The camera is competing, like their software UCam is trying to compete to use the camera. And anyway, I've got to go in and spend a little bit of time. Thanks. Yeah, I like this mic too. And I see this mic in YouTube videos. People use this mic. Eric Tang uses this mic. It is so nice. And also, I don't have the Yeti was big, and it sat on a platform, anti-vibration platform. I don't know what the hell the name for it is, but so it took up a lot of space underneath. So like trying to type and stuff like that, trying to move around was just more difficult. So this mic is just so much better, and I have the new pop filter on here. So, but yeah, the video, and then I also have my my headset and my was a HyperCloud, or whatever the hell it is. And kind of my gaming headset. I don't game, but I use the headset. So like I had a meeting today, so I use the headset, which works really well. So and then once Coop is gifting me, you guys have probably seen the artwork of the Safety Doc logo. So he's gonna gift me that, and that'll be in the back, and I'll rearrange things, and then I'll kind of redo the camera. The nice thing with this camera is it is software, so I can change um, I can do this. So, I can boom, suddenly, we're out here. So I can change the position of the camera. So I'll probably do something like similar to this a little bit, although like, I'll center myself and um but I'm going to have it where we can very clearly focus and see Coop's. There we go. Gotta back out of that a little bit. Um there we go. And this, no, it's just kind of fun to be able to do this. So yeah. So there we go. Coop's my logo that he's working on that has that lights up and stuff like that. That's gonna be really cool. And then I'm going to order a diploma case for my doctoral diploma, and that's pretty big actually. And then I'm going to work that in the back. So those are the two things. And it comes with this really weird hanging process. Like it looks kind of complicated to hang. Um, so I'll figure it out, but it's a little more than I kind of want to get into. But I want to get a nice frame for the doctoral degree. I've never displayed it. It's still in the same mailer from 2016. I'm like, yeah, it's about time, just put it in the back, and then that's going to kind of be the end of the studio decor. I mean, which will be really nice, but to have those back there, and I'm really excited. Coop does little videos of here's it's coming along. So, all right, everybody, take care. It's going to be 73, sunny, beautiful again here. 3 inches of rain between Friday and Saturday. So, but probably not any flooding because it's been pretty dry here and we're sandy soils. So it's pretty big while also being complicated. Oh my goodness, bacon. So I'll take the rain. Yeah, we haven't. It's been again kind of dry, so not droughish, but yeah, we'll have. They're projecting three inches of rain, but over like a 24-hour period. I think some areas like south of us, like they're projecting 5 inches of rain. Um, but again, I don't think they're anticipating any problem with that because it's been pretty dry and um, so yeah. All right. Take care, everybody. Monday, Doc is 51. Well, a special birthday show. It's gonna be awesome. So, all right, thank you.